So today's class is going to be with something that is coming up for a lot of people, that their energies are very low and there's so much going on there for that they feel they are depleted. So what I will work on this class is, where is that depletion comes from? Let's say, for hypothetically, let's say the practice is, the state of consciousness of the practice is called by different names: name of love, name of God, name of realization, name of giving, all these things. Now, if this comes as you're working with this energy towards an object, let's say you're loving someone and you in a relationship and you want something out of that love, then it is actually depleting, because it moves on to something rather than creating something that come in that space of infinity and pulling your energy. It is being focused onto an object rather than keeping the subject alive and the energy. So just ask yourself today, where I have lost and where I feel that I'm drained because I am moving the energy towards something instead of keeping the energy flowing, but not asking anything in return. Now, I will give you some hints through the class where you can find yourself, even with you not knowing, or you're not thinking about it or getting caught up about it, where you're losing this energy. So this is a very important class, because at the moment, most of you might be having state of elections going on, whom to choose, what to choose, and all these divisions. So I want you to become more of you, so that the collective consciousness of the loudness doesn't interfere into you, and you're going to take a decision from that space, not a space of an object and a return back, but the subject of, I may want to change, but it's not necessary for me, but this is what is correct at this very moment. So saying that, I will move the camera towards Darren. Take a deep breath in and allow your shoulders to roll back and open up that chest, and allow that space that you're holding to be very gently settled, and very gently observe where you're holding that tension. So much not as a name, but just a feeling of that. And very gently keep that breathing happening very gently, so that you can very gently bring a level of softness into that space. Shoulders totally relaxed, very gently allowing that chest to be open, harmonizing through your breath, and you allow that space to be penetrate more into the being, more as a breath, as a harmony, more as the way you sit. It's more of a space, not just like a rock, but just as a space to, into a space of a fragrance, to bloom into your being. So now what you call the prana, the energy, is more of a understanding. Now, what you're doing by coming into the practice, you're bringing that energy from a space of occupied to a space of unoccupied. It comes from disturbance it comes into the understanding. When the energy is occupied, it remains disturbed, it remains in the space of logic, space of fight, space of ignorance, it remains unconsciousness. Because the energy is focused on the object, it's going outward. It is extroverted. By bringing the prana back into the space of the realization, it's become introverted. It is energy is freed from that news, freed from that object, freed from that person. So the understanding is where it will go. It will start falling into the space of the subject, onto your inner source. When you come into that space, very gently bringing the palms onto the pranam position, you're falling back into the source. You're coming into not to this person, but to the source. It has become awareness. Into the space of the spirit. When you come into that realization, very gently allow the harmony of the breath to sing. Allow the harmony of your being to start opening into the space of the fragrance. And if you're privately in your home, you can gently allow the Om to resonate with that energy, bringing into the space of unoccupied, bringing into the space of understanding, bringing into the space of consciousness, the grace of God. Now take a deep breath in, very gently twisting the spine to the left side, shoulders relax, and very gently chest is elevated, space of the heart is elevated. Very gently bring in that space of that object to the subject. So the interest in that object is no longer there. You're not exploring into objects to feel yourself going from one food to another food, one relationship to another relationship. Breathing in very gently, coming back. Shoulders relax, chest open. Soften the space of the posture and change the formation of the legs. Very gently take a deep breath in. Shoulders relax, just open. Twisting the spine to the right side. Very gently opening up that space. You're not reducing your spirit into object. You're not reducing your soul into object. The practice is just moving from the space of this subjectivity. You're not using your spirituality to exploit. You're allowing the energy to remain in that space of understanding, forgiveness, loving. You're just bringing the energy back home into the space of the rest. Breathing in very gently, coming back into the center. Shoulders relax, just open, elevating the space of the heart. Soften the breath. Just see how your throat feels, jaws feel, heart feel, solar plexus feel, navel feel as energy. So your observation is giving into the space of the source. It's not want to get anything out of it. It remains in the space of understanding, in the space of subjective. It is rooting back onto yourself. Shoulders relaxed, chest open. Now take a deep breath in, elongate the space of the spine and very gently stretch the head and the neck onto the right side. Space in the left shoulder. Stabilize the space of the scapula, opening up. And your practice is now helping you to become authentically individual. Your practice is allowing you to become centered and helping even there is another person in your life. You're looking at that person or that object in a place of reverence, worship. It's not exploitation of anything. Breathing in very gently, come back into the center, shoulders relaxed, chest open. Very gently stretching the neck onto the other side. Now right shoulder giving space to it. Now your practice is free, untethered to anything. And only this you can bring that level of transformation. Breathing in back into the center, shoulders relax, stretch open. Lift up the space of the heart. Very gently stretch that right arm onto the right side, onto the floor. Very gently take a deep breath in and left arm, shoulder roll back and the left sitting into the back of the sacrum, the palm. And very gently keep that shoulder more into the back rolling and very gently right arm, very gently right ribs opening up and even dropping the right elbow onto the floor on the right side without lifting up the hips and the knees. If you can. Now take a deep breath in and left arm reaching up to the ceiling and opening up and left arm stretching towards the right. Breathing in and stay in this pose and try to remain free to force that posture and just allow that your new transformation with the breath. So you can see, like, if you're breathing and you're coming into this understanding, if there is an imbalance in the body, let's say there's a water, a stagnation of dampness. Now you're breathing into this space of that, and that stagnation will move into evaporation from that phlegm, from that space of sluggishness. Breathing in very gently, coming back into the center. Shoulders relax and chest open. Stabilize the posture for a few seconds. And then when you're ready, change the leg formation for me. And you're doing the same posture, the alignment onto the other side. When you're ready, only that right arm goes up because we want that quantitative change to happen. We are breathing We are bringing that evaporation to happen. So it's not that the dampness is gone, but it has changed its space into the evaporation. So now when your energy is coming, don't move it back onto an object, because most of the students are wasting these energies that they're getting because they're interested in something else, in the space of the logic, the money, the partner, and they put all this energy into that. But I'm not against the accumulation of money or relationships, but you can see what dies in you, dissipates, become empty, and then you become gently a beggar of energy. But money goes on accumulating. Breathing in very gently, coming back. Shoulders relax and chest open. Keep that elongation for a while. Keep that openness for a while. So very gently, we can see what's currently happening. People have become powerful in the space of politics, but you could see that deep down, when it comes to these times, they feel like they're beggars. They're begging for a vote. They're begging for something. So be very conscious about this understanding. You don't want to live your life on non-understanding and unawareness by putting your energy into the objects constantly. Let this practice bring you back into that being. Breathing in very gently, coming back, shoulders relaxed, just open. Now very gently breathe out and come into a space of the cat by sitting. Very gently soften. Let the energy just be there without any occupation. Let that energy that you have turn into that awareness and become understanding, become the space of luminous, become the space of the light. Let it come into that quantum place of that leap. Breathing in very gently, coming into the sitting pose of a cow, tongue roll up onto the upper palate. Energy gaze onto the third eye and becomes the understanding. And now you're opposite to depleted of energy. You're opposite to your start losing your understanding. Now you're opposite to your tired. Now you are opposite to less intelligent, because now you have observed it. The practice brings that morning of freshness, intelligence into the state of consciousness. Breathe out, anus lock, navel lock, throat lock. And very gently holding that energy on those 3 levels of the energy center and becoming more compassionate, more loving, that freshness. And you can understand that every morning, if you're a person on the iPhone, you could see people are begging for things because they know that you're fresh in the morning. So they want your attention. Because in the evening you're tired and you're also in the state of begging. So if someone asks for any begging, you will get frustrated. Breathing into a space of a calm. Shoulders roll back, opening up. Stretch that tongue, activate that energy. More of the understanding, more of that space of love, more of the space of sympathy. Gently coming into a neutral space. Shoulders relaxing, just open. Now taking a deep breath in and very gently come up onto the knees, come up to a place of a neutral space of a cat, very gently. So hips and knees are aligned. Shoulders and wrists are aligned. And now drop the belly for a while and stretch the throat up to the ceiling. Breathe out, anus lock, navel lock, throat lock. Allow your bum to be flat as possible, but keep the space of the spine. Breathing in, drop the belly, opening up the chest and shoulders roll back, tongue rolling up onto the upper palate, energy gaze. Now you're coming into a more of understanding of the innocence of a child. Neutral spine. Give a good rotation to the hip and very gently rotate in such a way that you're releasing the tension of the digestive space, space of the liver, space of the spleen, onto the other side, very gently. And you're releasing the tension of heart, tension of logic, tension of that you're remaining occupied with the object, even about your health. And very gently bringing that moment of innocence, the moment of trusting, moment that you're closer to the God, because there the energy is overflowing. That's why if you take children, learn things very fast. Why? Energy is there. The intelligence is there. The older you have become, the more difficult you have become. That's why when we are children, we drop, break bones and heal. Now very gently, take a deep breath, push the hips forward. Shoulders roll back, opening up, and release that tension of the difficult part of the groin, difficult part of the buttocks. And breathe out, stretch the spine into the back. Very gently, very gently, very gently. Palms facing up. Your shoulder blades are now opening. I'm very gently bringing that moment of the innocence is born. Moment of efficiency is brought back. Moment of that infinite capacity is there. Moment of the energy is still flowing. This is why the practice is so important, the understanding, because this energy is not wasting. It's not interested in trivia. It does not put energy at all into petty things. So whenever the time arises to give back to yourself. Give back that understanding to yourself. Give back that consciousness back to yourself. Because your energy is very consciously, and use your energy in such a way that you don't simply go on wasting it. It's like the same, treated it like money. Maybe you have a better understanding, not on a logic way. Think twice before you spend it, who you're spending it. Now, very gently bring those knees together and very gently come into a space of a child pose. Shoulders relaxed and chest open. Now, very gently take a deep breath in, crown of the head onto the floor. The crown of the head, if it is too hard, don't. Lifting up into the pose of the rabbit. And very gently allow that pituitary and the pineal energy is moving into the space. And there's a peak when it becomes simply understanding and compassion. Roll onto the third eye, fist on the third eye. Ultimate opening up of that chakra. Ultimate opening up into that space of the divine. So now you can see the bottom layers, you are no longer laying the energy, but in any moment you can bring it up to the space of the godliness. Same energy moves, but it is not in the object anymore, it is on the space of the subject. So your energy is not divided into two, I'm not saying that. Then it's the dualism is created between the God and the lower. Once you divide it, then there's conflict, then there is a struggle created. Once you have divided your energies. So observe when you talk, are you talking from division? When you serve, are you serving from division? When you love, ask yourself, are you serving from division? Because in a practice, when we are living in the same practice, we are neither for nor against, because we don't allow it to be divided. Don't give a name to anything, whether you want to go to whatever the space it is. Now very gently waking up the spine, one vertebra at a time, coming into this realization. Coming from that bondage, coming into a place of taking the practice beyond the physicality. But I'm not against the physicality. Then you will come into the understanding what the Jesus talks about love, what the Buddha talks about compassion. So this is not suppressing any energy, by the way. Because if you suppress by any religion certain energies, people will become obsessed with that and will punish themselves too much. Now very gently take a deep breath in, shoulders relaxed and chest open, palms into the front and very gently moving into the space of the down face. Very gently using this posture. Remember, don't suppress any energy. Energy is only to transform. Nothing can be destroyed in this world as much as we want things to go. It only can be transformed. That's why I believe in transformation. I believe in compassion. I believe in change. I believe in new realm. I believe in dimension. Because creation and destruction are both beyond you. Not even a single atom can be destroyed. Only can be transformed. That's why I take a walk. That's why I clean the house. That's why I have rituals. Now take a deep breath in, lifting up onto the toes, pushing down to the heels, lifting up onto the toes, pushing down to the heels. Now lifting up onto the toes and bending the knees very gently and bringing the lower rib cage onto the knees. Head down, neck down, totally relaxed. Take a deep breath in, very gently opening up into the space of the down face. Now take a deep breath in, very gently coming into a plank from the down face. Breathe out towards the down face. Breathing in into a plank. Breathe out towards the down face. Breathing in into a plank. Now very gently drop the knees and stretch the spine into the back. Work with the body that you're working with. Try not to force anything. Palms facing up, shoulder blades are now breathing. Back of the spine is now breathing. And you have just come into that space of not destroying anything, but you're coming into the space of more deeper into that realization of being. Now take a deep breath in. Palms facing down, crawling and bringing the chest into the front. Shoulders relax and release the tension of the suppression of the energy. Releasing the tension of areas of fed up, too much. Release the tension of repression and indulgence and obsession. It's not moving from one pole to another pole, it's just keeping it in neutral. So once what you have repression now has become your indulgence, if you force it. Both are place of unconsciousness. Now allow this energy to be transformed, neither to repress nor indulge. And elbows onto the floor. When you're ready, transform that energy with a deep meditative awareness into a gentle cobra. Now, let's say you are in a relationship and you have to be intimate and all that. We are not against it, but you're bringing that alert consciousness, the mindfulness of the being, but not allowing it to become unconscious force, like a dam broken. Don't be pulled or pushed by anything. Move knowingly, move understandingly, move lovingly, but make that experience a meditative experience. That's why we have done this through our Tantra. So we are not obsessed with so much about the idea of sex. Now very gently overlooking onto the left side. Shoulders relax and chest open. Back to the center. overlooking onto the right side. Shoulders relax, just open. Breathing in back to the center. Very gently allow your third eye to land onto the floor. You can use the fist and very gently allow the energy to start changing. Now the energy, wherever it is object, now the experience start moving towards the consciousness. Now you're very alert about your body. You can see the peaks of orgasm that you're having in the body. And allow that deepness, the experience is total. You're totally absorbed, rooted in your whole being and vibrating from that. So your whole being in it. The body and the mind are not separate, it is one. God and devil is not separation. Right and wrong is not separation. Because you're on the peak, you're not in the separation. Your thoughts have stopped completely because you're so total and you cannot think. You're in the space of flow. You are. Now very gently, elbows tucked into the next of the rib cage, breathing in into an up phase. Overlooking onto the left side from the up phase. Overlooking to the right side from the up phase. Breathing in back to the center onto a down phase. You can drop the knees and move into the down phase. Very gentle. Shoulders relax. You're more conscious. You're more alert. Your alertness is taking and carrying you into the other moments, into other experiences. And this has become part of you. Now you can bring your alertness into your gentle walk, work, eating, sleeping. Take a deep breath in, drop the knees and stretch the spine. Now allow that practice to sink into your deepest core. Allow that practice to penetrate to you. Now you're carrying it with you. Now very gently take a deep breath in. Palms onto the floor, coming onto the knees. Shoulders relaxed. Now left arm reaching up to the ceiling. Up to the ceiling as much as possible. Pull the belly in slightly. Now left arm rolling into the back, tucking under the right armpit. Much as possible, much as possible. Now, even if you can drop the bum onto the heels, it's better. And try to keep that tucking happening and try to get your right shoulder on top of the left shoulder alignment. And even for a second, if you can open the palm very gently up to the ceiling, right palm. Whatever the way you are opening up, some of you will open up from left to right and opening up. If that opens up your shoulder blade, that's correct. Some will be opening up from the left to the right. So use both to understand, to absorb that energy in total, absorbing into the root of your opening, your whole, allow your practice and your body to vibrate in that whole space, and allow the practice to reach into that space of peak, not just the logic. where the thought is not there, but the space of feeling is there, space of being. All your atoms, your cells of the body is without the space of the separation of the logic that has separated it. In this moment, you become very alert, you become very conscious. Then you're opening the doors into that space of the divine. You have opening up the doors for that alertness. Breathing in very gently, coming back. Shoulders relax, lift up the buttocks, coming to a stable ground. And when you're ready, I would like you to come into the space of the other side with your own practice, with your own alertness, with your now you have come to the realization of a fresher you. But the practice has given you a space of that moment, a momentum of bliss that you're maintaining, a momentum of ecstasy. Rather than thoughtless state of the mind and total involvement in that act that gives you that blissful feeling. Once you understand in this, you understand that you don't need anything. You cannot be forced to buy anything. Only you be pushed because you are on the thinking mind. Totality of your being can be created without any object. Once you know that, it can happen without anything. And what you were needing before is now needed less and less. Indulgence, addictions, breathing in very gently, coming back, shoulders relax, chest open. Now I would like you to come to a cat pose and very gently anus lock, navel lock, throat lock. Very gently move that energy and hold that energy in that space, that it doesn't need dependence of anything, that it has become that inner source and you're independent and you're free. Drop the belly, tongue roll up, and energy gaze onto the Chidakasha, into the space of the mystery. And you're celebrating the truth of you, and you're free. Because now you are not depending on anybody or anything. You're creating, yes, the practice, yes, your ecstasy. Breathe out, anus lock, navel lock, throat lock. Energy is never destroyed. Only the form of the energy is changing. Now it's no longer a craving. The form is no longer sexual. Now it has become more loving. Shoulders relax, chest open, drop the belly. Just move the hips side to side and give a good rotation to the hips and release this tension. Release this tension of logic. Release this tension of exploitation. Because sometimes when our desire to objects, we use even spirituality as love to exploit people, exploit situations. So very gently observe the personality has created these things. Now the individuality has become more auto-ecstatic. The ecstasy in that space of the practice. Now your giving can be a constant giving. Your sharing can be a constant sharing. Because you have come into that place. Shoulders relaxed, buttocks dropped onto the space. Now very gently take a deep breath in. Coming into a child pose. Shoulders relaxed. Chest open. Now very gently waking up the spine one vertebra at a time. Shoulders relaxed, chest open. Lift up the space of the heart. Now really ask yourself, what is missing in you? Because that is missing and then you have become destructive. And as children, also, when we are not loved, we totally forget about the language of creativity. And we can become very destructive in our relationships. And if we are hold even higher positions and given the most sacred things, we can become criminals. We can bring everything into politics, even our own relationships. Very gently coming up onto the knees. Keep your back open and elevate the spine as much as possible. Elevate the space of the heart. Bring the space of the kidneys open a little bit more so you are not tightening it. Now very gently left arm reaching up to the ceiling, into the space of the buttocks. Right arm reaching up to the ceiling, into the space of the buttocks. And pull the belly in. It's not pushing the belly out. Lifting up the space of the heart. And you can lift up onto the toes if you need. And very gently arch into the back, very gently. And if you're in a space of reaching onto the heels or into a cushion or into a bolster, allow that space. Now you could see that slightly your hips have moved back. So try to push the hips forward to align with the knees and create that space of openness. Support the back when you're ready, very gently moving into a greater space of a child. And very gently releasing the tension of the distraction that you're holding. And very gently allow the practice to bring that space of compassion to yourself, the love to yourself, so that you can feel your worth. And you know, when somebody loves you, you become worthy. But that somebody has to be you now. You start feeling that the areas that you have neglected is needed. It needs you. Whether it's a childhood trauma, whether it's anything else, it needs you, not another person. Now, out of that level of presenceness that you have it in yourself, wake up the space of the spine and gain one vertebra at a time and allow your vertebrae to rise the energy of joy, the creation of joy. And out of this joy, other people are going to be happy around you. Other people are going to change around you. And this is what the real meaning of service, the real meaning of being, helping people to understand them, helping people to become warm, helping people to become loving. By this class, I'm just creating a little beauty in this space of the community, creating a little joy within yourself, creating a little space where you can celebrate, you can sing, you can allow your body to dance. And the benefit of that joy is rewarded. Now very gently stretch the legs into the front, very gently releasing the tension of the ankles, the toes. So very gently hold your feet and give a good massage, and very gently bring that space, bring that spiritual food into your feet, bring that spiritual nourishment to the space of the body where it's needed. So the food of the soul now is celebrating the body. The body needs food, soul also needs food. But between all this, you can come into that space of how you're going to nourish the body and the mind, and even that space of the food. Give a good massage to the back of the calves, back of the thighs, and shake the legs and release any tension that you were holding. Now very gently, stretch one leg at a time, very gently into the front, and very gently rolling and pushing the other leg into the front. So with the left knee onto the chest, or you can just roll from the buttocks, very gently stretching one leg at a time. Finding a way to release that tension. Now very gently do whatever the posture that, without denying, that is naturally coming into you. Now, once you have done those postures that are naturally coming into you, very gently coming out of the fantasy of things into the reality of things. Now you have come to learn to live with the space of the reality. Now you have to learn to see the extraordinary in the ordinary. Because some of you might find this moment is very ordinary. But some of you will take time to find the space of the inner. You're now finding how to merge. Never been taught. The art of love is not just pretty person. Everybody thinks like that way. You're born with the capacity of this truth. So practice is giving you back that space. Very gently holding onto a space of meditation after your postures. Now, very gently, it's surprising you. You can really see what's going through you. As your practice is deepening, you connect into the space of the spirit of people. Your practice has taken you into a new turn. Energy start moving upwards. The lowest rung of separation is no longer there. Division is no longer there. Polarity is no longer there. The highest rung is samadhi, the super consciousness. When you come into that space, very gently, arms raise onto the ground. Shoulders relax and allow that chest to be open. Palms onto the namaskar position itself and its realization. Bringing back that unity. Bringing back that relationship into a greater space, the relationship with finance into a greater space. Relationship with your health into that greater space. So we can heal from our ignorance. Very gently raising the vibration, arms raised back onto the crown, cleansing that aura into that collective space of your realization. So whether it's your field, whether it's your house, whether it's your community, whether it's your galaxy, wherever you are today, allowing yourself to expand from that space of unity. Very gently withdrawing into the space of the crown, third eye, throat, heart, solar plexus, navel, navel. Bringing the energy into the space of transformation from object to space of subject. Namaste to you all. We are now in a great space of